Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sea Glass Archaeology. It's a beautiful day in May, but don't let the weather fool you. Over the past couple of weeks, the wind and the waves have been pushing all of the rocks and all of the pebbles that bear the sea glass right towards these cliffs right behind me. You can see that they've just been sheared clean. It's low tide in about an hour and a half, and I've already scouted it out with my dogs, so it looks like there's going to be a few spots that we can pick. I'm excited to get out there and see what we find. So without further avail, guys, let's head to the beach. So this is the first pile that I was talking about, everybody. Right away, as soon as I get here, I can see that there's sea glass on the surface, which is a very good sign. And we're gonna have to pick all of this later on. I actually was scouting this spot a few hours earlier when I was taking my dogs for a walk, and I definitely identified this as a place to be. And now that I'm here right now, I actually can see, you can see there's a piece of cobalt blue right over here. There's a lot of sea glass in this one little spot. So this is going to be a big point of interest. Although we're going to walk the beach first, I think, and we're going to see what else is out here. And I cannot believe it, guys. I literally just turned off the camera and I made one kick, and it was my first kick. It's 2 seconds later, and I found a marble right here, guys. Check it out. Red, green, white, cat's eye. Look at this right here, guys. There's another piece of blue right over here. Nice little piece, very different shade than the cobalt and the cornflower that we're used to seeing. So all of this rock right over here, this is the rich sea glass bearing material, and it's all seemingly concentrated into this pile right here and this pile right over here. It doesn't look like much, but these piles are like 10 feet off the ground, I'd have to imagine right now. It's going to be really hard to get through them, but we're going to do our best right here, especially because there is a couple on the beach with a young child. They're out looking for sea glass at the other end. And I just like to be respectful of people's privacy when they're on the beach. Not everybody likes to be filmed. Check this one out right over here. I gotta be quiet, but it looks like it's cobalt blue. And then when I turn it, you can see it's actually got layers of glass. So we've got the clear right over here, a little bit of melt glass, and then we got the cobalt blue right over here. So this is a really great little find. So we're gonna make this happen as best as we can. Oh my gosh, look at that right there, guys. I've just got this rolling, and look at this, a beautiful lavender piece. It just rolled right out where I was digging. Oh my goodness. Here, I'm gonna put it back down so everybody can get a better appreciation for the color and how beautiful this piece actually is. Look at this right over here. It's a tiny little piece of pink. It's the smallest little shard of pink sea glass. We're gonna be able to switch back in a minute here to where I get to put the camera down and actually do some digging. So I'm starting to make some good discoveries in this pile here. As you can see in the past couple of minutes, a really nice piece of pink and that piece of flash blue. Oh, look right over here, guys. It's a nice little piece of tableware. Nice little find. Oh, look at that right there, guys. It's a huge chunk of gray. It looks like it's a finger. This is another one of these finger licking good finds that I talk about. It's just beautiful. It's aged to perfection. I'd have to say this one here is a perfect 10. Okay, I just stood up, and now look over here, guys. I see something that's red. I don't know if it's glass or not. Oh, it absolutely is glass right over here. Oh, it's just so hard to focus sometimes with the camera. Okay, here we go, guys. Check this out. Oh my goodness. I do not think that this is a marble. It's absolutely not from a marble, because we can see that it's got this little bit of a striping and it's got a curve, like a contour to it. I'm sure, is this gray? Sorry, no, it's not gray at all, guys. Sorry about that. I thought this was gray for a second. Oh, look at that. Perfectly aged. I'm telling you, we're going to be in this pile all day here just looking at the beach. I don't think there's going to be anywhere else to pick. Oh, I just saw something right here. Okay. Oh, look at that. I totally just took one swipe right off the top, and there's a piece of blue, and it's sitting right over here. It's like the bottom of a bottle, but I don't think this is a Vicks bottle. I'm pretty sure this one here is like a Brahma Seltzer bottle. Oh, look right over here. There's a little bit of amber brown and another amber brown. So let's put those in the bag real quick. Looking at this right over here now, you can see that the circumference of this bottle would have been a lot slimmer. This bottle would have been a lot smaller than we'd expect to see from like a Vicks bottle. And you can see when I go like this on the profile that this really is a thin piece of glass. It's not what we would expect to see from those thicker Vicks and Noxzema bottles. So I'm pretty sure this one here is going to match perfectly to a Brahma Seltzer bottle that I have at home in my collection. Here is the dent that I've made so far in this ridge, and here's how far we have to go. We're gonna probably take this thing about 30 or 40 feet. Oh, now that I'm looking, look right over here, guys. There's a perfectly, flawlessly aged nugget of clear, and it's just sitting right here. And it's wild because that family, the mother was picking and she was doing a little bit of surface scratching right over here. You can see that they saw what I was doing and then they got hip to the scheme and they started doing the same thing. So I'm really excited here because I know that this whole ridge, this whole little area right over here is just going to be filled with sea glass. And once again, it's like you can see, there's another nugget sitting right on the surface. So people see the colors, but they fail to see the other things. And they definitely fail to see what's right underneath this huge pile. So that's about 10 feet from where I am right over there to here. And it's going to be time for me to set the camera down now and seriously dig this pile with two hands and see what we find. Okay, everybody, so I've got the camera down. I've got a whole bunch of rocks propped in front of it. And now it's time for me to do my thing. I'm going to dig this pile that I just showed everybody, and we're going to find some good stuff. Oh, look at that. Okay, guys, you know, I don't think I've ever shared this with you guys before. You can see it's a piece of green glass and it's got a little bit of coloring on it to it. And you're probably going to recognize this because it's a 20th century find. So what this is over here is just a bottle with an applied colored labeling, also known as ACL. This little bit of coloring right over here actually gets baked onto the glass, and it makes it so that different companies can have different unique styles and different labels. It really changed things because before ACL, the only way that you could really put your name on a bottle was either through a paper label, which would come off, or through the embossing, which is the raised or indented letters. It's been really tough filming on this pile over here, guys, just like the last video. The tablet just fell right down. I've got a whole bunch of rocks pressing against it this way and that way, and I've just got the little bit of the lens exposed right over there. I don't care how much work it takes, guys. It just brings me so much joy to share these adventures with you. So let me say thanks for 600 subscribers right now. It just fills me with joy to think how many people are watching my video. And right now, as I'm looking at that little hole in between all of the rocks over there, I'm thinking to myself that there's 600 people that can't wait to see what I find next out on the beach. Saw green again. Oh, look at that. It's a nugget. Oh, it's lavender. Guys, check it out. It's a lavender nugget right over here. I guess it's more like a little lavender pinky finger. It's hard to kind of tell, but you can see it right over here. It's a beautiful little color, really nice little shade, and it's super aged. Of course, it's really common for me to find these lavender nuggets out my way. Oh, look at that. It's huge. It's a piece of green right here. It's huge. Oh, look at this piece right here. Another nice one. Oh my gosh, look at this, guys. It's just sitting right over here. It was just totally camouflaged with all of these gray rocks around me. Look at this marble here, guys. Okay, so so this marble here is not like any other marble that I've ever found before out my way, and it's really, really different. I've been watching a lot of marble identification videos from a guy named Stephen Barr, and I absolutely love his marble identification videos. I love the insight, but unfortunately there are just so many different marble companies and so many different marble styles that it would probably take a long time for somebody like me to figure out exactly where this is and to match this to the actual company. I can tell that it's translucent. You can actually see through it. It's a very unique piece, and it's almost got a little bit of green to it, a little bit of blue, and it's so different than anything else that I've seen before in the past. Here's a good piece of glass right here, guys. Look at this one right over here. Nice triangle. It's a nice aqua seafoam color. Amber brown, more brown. This little piece of a plate right over here, really faint. Oh, cobalt blue. Cobalt blue. Oh, look at this right here, guys. Here, I gotta get this in focus right over here. Okay, guys, look at this right over here. Now you can see it's a piece of the willow pattern, but it looks just like an eagle. It looks exactly like an eagle. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to match this when we go home. It's the tiniest little shard, and it just goes to show you that when a plate breaks, we really don't know what we're gonna find. The camera keeps falling on me, everybody. I really don't know what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna keep propping it up. I'm gonna keep putting these rocks all around it. It really doesn't seem to be holding though, unless I do that. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at the size of this piece of bonfire right over here. This thing is just off the charts. It almost looks like it's a spearhead. Take a look at it. It looks like it's a piece of flint rock. It's got all these creases to it. It's got a little bit of bubbling to it as well on this side right over here. And you can see it picked up a little bit of inclusions from the fire. You know, I've talked before about bonfire glass, and if you find it out your way, it's a really good indication that the beach that you're picking on is an actual rubbish cove as opposed to like a public party beach. I'm going to be talking about this a lot more in the upcoming months, as I'm going to be honored once again to be speaking at the Mermaid's Tear Sea Glass Festival out in Surrey, PEI, albeit I'm going to be speaking virtually this year. I'm really excited to cover the topics of how come some people find an abundance of marbles while other people find none, bonfire and washboards. What does it mean or not mean when you find it out your way? Did I just see that? There it is. Yeah, guys, it's a marble. I knew I just saw that. It just flashed right in front of my eyes. Okay, let me come down here, guys, and share this one with you because it's another neat little find, and it feels like it's been forever since I made anything of a significant find. So check it out, guys. It's a marble. Well, I guess it's about half a marble, but it's really beautiful. It's not a typical cat's eye where you can see it's got the red, the blue, and now that I'm looking at it, seems like I drop a lot of pieces. There's a little air bubble in it right over here on this side. So this is probably a little bit of an earlier marble. I'd say it's about 60% here. It's a great little find, and I'll take it. So looking behind me, I'd have to say that the tide has gone out quite a bit. So we're gonna pick up the tablet here, and we're gonna do a little bit of walk up and down the beach, and we're gonna see if we find anything that's kicked up. Because last time we were here a few weeks ago, things really kicked up really quickly with that beautiful green marble. So I wanna see if something like that happens again. Now that I look up, everybody, there's a whole pile of rocks right here that goes for about 100 feet that we're gonna get to walk through. There's a lot more than I realized, so I'm glad that I got up. Every little piece counts for me. They all come up. Oh, look at this. I almost missed this one. See, this gray right over here, it's a lot thinner than the grays that I'm used to finding. And I have to say, this is the kind of gray right over here that I would expect to see from a battery jar as opposed to a television. Okay, guys, I'm going to take out that big thick of gray that I found before. We're going to put the two of them together. And I really want to show the comparison of the two sizes of the gray glass that I find. The ones that I believe are from televisions. And then this one over here that I believe is from a wet battery jar. Okay, so I got a lot of stuff going on in this bag here, as you can see. I've got to be careful because I even picked up an old rusty razor. Okay, everybody, so I've got the two pieces of gray glass right here, and you can really see the size difference between the two. You can even see that there's a color contrast. I have to say that the one that I just found is about 4 times as thin as the one that's down here on the bottom, which I believe to be from a television. I'm finally glad that I found a piece of gray glass that I can share with everybody that I do believe is from an old battery jar. Okay, everyone, we're just snaking along here still. These are some good rocks to pick through. This is exactly the kind of material that we expect to see and find sea glass in. And we are finding sea glass in it. So this is awesome that we're here, and we're here at low tide. Oh, look at this over here, guys. It looks like it's a milk glass button over here. Check it out. My goodness. Yeah. Oh, look at this on this side. Are you kidding me? Guys, this is not a button at all. Okay, everybody, I'm not sure how well it's showing in the light over here, but if you look on this side over here, there's a 6 and a 1, Then over here, there's a 4 and a 3. So I'm imagining that this is going to be a 5 and a 2. So this is without a doubt some sort of like maybe like a dreidel or some sort of like a gambling device. Could this be from some sort of a game that I've never seen before? I'm looking at the melt glass over here, and it's got some striations to it. And it's really, really strange. Now that I look at it over here too, you can see there's a whole bunch of striations in it. I absolutely thought that this was a button when I first found it. It looks just like a button too, but now that I'm flipping it over, this thing's really bizarre. I'm just snaking along here. Still finding lots of sea glass. Things are going just swimmingly, I have to say. The tide is about to make its turn and start coming in. So we've been here for a couple of hours at least, I know that. Oh, beautiful little shell right over here. I love these little shells right over here, these wampum. And then look right over here, guys. Are you kidding me? It's another thick piece of gray just hiding in the dark, and it is just massive. Absolutely perfect. Oh, no, I thought that was glass, but it's seaweed. Oh, guys, look at that. It just washed right up right over here. It's a marble. I cannot believe it. It was at the low tide mark again. It's so beautiful. We can see it's got some yellow. It's got a little bit of a teal to it. And then it's got this orangey red. Absolutely beautiful. I'd say it's about 1/2 inch big right here. Man, right here, and it was into the seaweed. Oh, I thought that was a marble too. Yeah, it was sitting right here, and it was kind of wrapped up in a little bit of seaweed, and I pushed it right out. Awesome. Maybe it's like the laws of attraction. There's going to be a second marble. It's going to be sitting right here. Unless the marble is a broken piece of green, it didn't happen. That's okay, though, guys. I am still so happy to make another marble discovery. And then here we go. We got some more sea glass. It's coming home. It's getting in the bag. A lot of people would just skip right over all of the seaweed. But for me, I think it's one of the best places to be looking. I don't mind getting a little bit dirty if it means that I'm going to find treasures. Look at the shell over here. It's like abalone. It's absolutely stellar. And then there's a nice piece of green right over here as well. But yeah, so many people, they just don't want to pick through the seaweed. And I really don't blame you. My hands are pretty grimy. You can see it right now. But the truth of the matter is the seaweed helps to trap beautiful sea glass. Look right over here, another beautiful piece of little aqua right over here. It's a little bit of blue, and it just gets trapped into the seaweed. So I don't mind getting a little bit dirty if it means I'm going to be finding some good stuff. And on top of that, usually if you go to the beach, most people are going to skip right over this. So if the beach has been picked, all you got to do is lift the seaweed, and you're going to find some really great stuff. I said, considering what people do nowadays, there we go. Look at this piece right over here, and it's black too. Oh my goodness. Here, let's see if we can hold it up. Yeah, look at that. It's a beautiful piece of black pirate glass. Unreal. You know, it looks just like a rock. When I hold it down here like this, you can see it looks just like a rock. Look at this. It's another seaweed find. It's a beautiful piece of gray, aged to perfection, and it looks like it's the stem of an apothecary stopper. But there is some seriously thick glass and some big aged glass that's hanging out right here inside this pile of seaweed. Oh, it's red, but it is not a piece of red glass, everyone. A little red piece of plastic. Man, my fingers, my hands are just so grimy with seaweed right now. Oh, look at that right there. Look at this one. Beautiful. Aged to perfection. Oh, here we go. It's a scrappy. Look at this, guys. It's got a little bit of a pattern to it. So I've seen this on a medicine bottle on the side before. It's a little bit scrappy. Oh, wait a second here. Look at that. There's a little bit of a lettering to it right over here. You know what? You know what? I'm pretty sure I know exactly what this is. You know what? I'm pretty sure that this is a tail light or a headlight from a car. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it says GE right over here, and I've actually seen this pattern right over here on a headlight from an early automobile. When I was speaking at the festival in Surrey in 2019, I actually excavated a headlight from a car out of landfill, and I'm thinking that when we go home, I'm going to be able to match this piece over here, which is definitely not from a medicine bottle. It's a little bit too thick. It's a little bit too flat to be from a medicine bottle. So we're going to take this home, and I'm going to see if I can match this to that old tail light that I recovered out in Surrey. We got about 20 feet in between the high tide mark 2 hours ago when I got here, when I made these kick marks, and right now. And that is why we are up and we are looking through all of these rocks. And then we'll probably give them a look again as the ocean is cycling them and the tide is coming back in. However, we can see that this spot right over here has definitely been kicked a lot. It's a little bit higher up. So we're going to keep on going. What we are going to do is we're going to sit down right here. Give it a little bit of a movement. Oh my gosh, we're going to give it a little bit of a movement, and I'm going to find the nicest purple that I have found in the longest time. Look at this, everybody. It's absolutely stellar. It's over half an inch. Oh, I just keep dropping everything. It's over half an inch thick. It's a beautiful piece. It's crazy because I can see all of these kick marks and all these sift marks over here. And then I stopped because this is just at the edge of where we couldn't pick before. And this piece was just sitting right here waiting for us. So I wanted to share a few finds with you that are not from today. Now, when we were talking about our Holy Grail find, a lot of people had mentioned how orange was a Holy Grail color. Now, over the years, I have recovered 3 pieces that are very similar to this orange that you can see right here. I actually mentioned it in the comments to someone that I said I was going to try and find this and share it in a video. Unfortunately, this is the smallest fragment of any of the 3 that I have found, but in the previous 2 that I found, they had this little round part right over here, and then it kind of narrowed and came down just a little bit. So if you've ever seen a piece of glass like this, it's maybe some sort of an indicator light or some sort of electrical conductivity, I'd really love to hear from you, because for about 13 years now, I've been wondering what this is, and I have found more than one of them out my way. So here's the second find that I wanted to share with everybody. You know, it really fits in with that collie that I found the other day, but unfortunately I found this before I started making my videos. You can see that it's a surf tumbled manatee. Absolutely beautiful. Almost all of the coloring is gone off of it. It's just got a little bit of a purplish, kind of a grayish tinge to it. And he actually sits on one of my stands at home. He's one of my favorite little finds that I've made over the past 13 years. And lastly, I wanted to share this with everybody. Now, I know it's a broken bottle. There's a lot missing to it. But this is an Orange Crush crinkle style bottle. And you can see right over here, it actually has a patent date. And the patent date is August 22nd, 1921. So it's really hard to imagine that we're coming up on the 100-year anniversary of when the crinkle bottle was patented. Okay, everybody, I'm back and I'm picking that pile. You can see that I'm bundled up now because it's definitely a lot colder, and I even put an extra sweater on even though it's nice and sunny out. I thought I just saw something and now I lost it here. And that's what happens a lot with me, guys. It's not this piece right over here. I really thought I saw like a dark piece that looked like it was a rock, but it wasn't. It was a piece of green. So give me a second here. I'm just gonna backtrack a bit. Hopefully it shows itself. Oh, where did that go? Okay, guys, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What am I looking at here? Guys, I'm pretty sure that this is a piece of bonfire over here. So I'm gonna show it to everyone. It's gonna be hard to keep it in the camera here because it's really small. But check this out right over here. It's an amazing piece of bonfire glass. Maybe it's a marble here. No. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it here, everybody, this is absolutely a piece of bonfire glass. I almost thought it was like a little marble because it kind of looks like a little slag marble. It's really hard to see over here. You're gonna have to wait until I take a picture of it. But it's got a bunch of green in it. Oh, I just dropped it. Oh my gosh. Oh, I thought it was red. It's a tiny little piece of plastic. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I found it. Oh, okay guys, look at this one right over here. It is the lip of a bottle. Now you can see over here, it's got a couple of little edges on it. So this right here is a double collar or a sloped double collar. Sometimes you could call this a sloped double taper as well. Now this lip right over here, let me take a look at it. Okay guys, so this lip right over here was actually an applied lip. This lip wasn't made by hand. It wasn't a tooled lip. Now there's a big difference between a tooled lip and an applied lip in the late early 1900s. Now if a lip is tooled, when we look over here, we're probably going to see a bunch of lines on it, like a little bit of lines from like a tool marks from somebody actually finishing the bottle off, as opposed to an applied bottle. And what happens with the applied lips is you actually have a tool and it kind of pinches down on the top over here and it gives us this little shape over here. So this is what we call over here a sloped double collar, or an applied sloped double taper, you could call this as well. It's probably like a late early 1900s find. And I think it's kind of neat how it's just extremely elongated down so that we caught the lip of the bottle and we caught the double taper over here and nothing else, as opposed to catching it like this where it's more like wider going this way. We caught it going vertically. So it's really neat that I'm able to share this piece with you, and I'm pretty sure this is the color that I saw before that eluded me, and I'm glad that we found it, because now I'm not going to be sitting here wondering if I actually did see it or not. This pile right over here is really doing us a lot of good. Here we go. Another perfect piece right over here. There's a lot of really good sea glass right here, and there's some chippy stuff as well. This one over here, it almost looks, this one here is a light amber brown, but it almost looks like it's orange. Look at this. It's the tiny little piece of an eraser from a pencil. You can see it right over here. It's a little bit of rubber, definitely an eraser, definitely sea glass. This is an absolutely stellar pile, everybody. I am just in love with it, and I cannot believe that I left it. The unfortunate thing is, a lot of the pile's in the shade over there now, so I'm really going to have to get cold, and I'm going to have to go into the shade if I want to see what's over in the other side over there. Well, everybody, this is the only thing that I have to write home about after all of the digging that I've done. I'm going to show you that I dug the trenches out left and right all the way into the shade. I found a lot of sea glass, a huge bag of sea glass, but everything's been pretty common. A lot of time has passed, and then finally I found this super tiny microscopic little piece of red sea glass, which is only about 2 millimeters by 1 millimeter across. So you can see that I found it right over here, and then I dug all the way through here, and I dug all the way into the shade over there, and I found a lot of sea glass, and finally I have something to report home about. Okay, everybody, well, this is definitely one that I have to tell you about. Check it out. It's another citron piece of sea glass. It's kind of like the one that I found a few months ago. I'm gonna have to put the two of them together, but this one's really wild. It's so well aged. And at first when I picked it out, I thought it was just a piece of dirty clear, but this is clearly a piece of citron. Absolutely stellar. I'm calling it citron, everybody, but it's almost like it's a champagne color. It's really amazing. I'm so happy because I'll tell you, I have dug a lot of sea glass so far, and other than that little red, I haven't found anything else to write home about. It's really hard for me to stop when I know that there's going to be sea glass in here. And then I saw this right over here, and look at that. It is actually another eraser. This one looks like it's a soccer ball. At first, when I found this piece over here of purple, I thought that this was just the threading of a lip. But now that I'm giving it a closer examination, it actually looks like a letter. This could actually be like an O or a Q, depending on how I have it. Or it could even be a part of a pattern. Now there's another piece that I wanted to share with you as well. Now you remember a few hours ago, I found that piece of red when we first started off with the little bit of striping on it. It was the clear glass with the little striping. Now check this one out right over here. Now I have to say that it's very peculiar for me. I thought that first piece was really odd and out of place compared to a lot of the pieces I find. See, something like this I would absolutely expect to see in the early part of the 20th century, part of the glass that was discarded in my way. Now all of a sudden, I'm finding this, which I have to say, in 13 years, I've never seen anything like this out my way. And now in the same day, in the exact same pile, but about 4 hours apart, I found 2 pieces from the identical vase, or whatever this happens to be. Okay, everybody, so I'm done digging that pile, and it's going to be time to go home. But don't go anywhere yet, because as soon as we get there, I'm going to take out some original bottles, and hopefully we're going to be able to match some of these pieces that we just found to the original bottles that they came from. Right over here, I have that beautiful piece of cobalt blue from the bottom of a bottle that kind of is shaped like a shark's fin. Now you can see right over here, I've got my Bromo Seltzer bottle, and I've got an Noxzema bottle right over here. So what I wanted to share with everybody is that even though these 2 bottles seem that they have an almost identical circumference around the base of the bottom, they are absolutely different from one another. When I go like this and like that and I put them together, you can actually see that they do not match up perfectly. This one over here is a little bit larger, and that was how I knew that this piece right over here was from a Bromo Seltzer bottle as opposed to a Vicks or a Noxzema. On top of the fact that the shape is a little bit smaller, I also want to add that you can see this one over here is a little bit heavier in cobalt oxide than the Bromo Seltzers tended to be. So you can see I've got my piece right over here that I called the eagle head, and I thought it was the eye of the eagle. If you follow my Facebook page, I actually posted it such as that. I looked all over this plate and I didn't see any eagles on it whatsoever. And then I took it and turned it like this, and then all of a sudden it made a lot of sense to me that this is not an eagle per se, but it matches to one of these houses over here. You can see there's a second one right over here and a third one right over here. And this one here matches a lot more closer to. When I put it right up to this one, it's almost a perfect match. It really just goes to show that the eye will see sometimes what we want it to see. Because when I found this piece, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, it looks just like an eagle. There's no way it's anything else. And then when I turned it like that, I had my answer right over here. It is unequivocally a piece of one of these little houses in the willow pattern. Check out my glass light made by General Electric that I dug out of the shorelines a couple of years ago when I was out in Prince Edward Island at the Sea Glass Festival. You know, now that I put the 2 pieces together, it is not an exact match. And when I'm looking at these letters over here, I thought it said GE for General Electric. However, we can see on this one over here that the GE is embossed on the inside, and over here it's a sealed beam which is embossed on the outside. So there is a chance that this is from an old tail light. However, it's not the exact same design. I think it's really amazing how all of these little grooves on the inside are going in different directions seemingly, and they're different sizes as well. I guess this was how they figured it was the best way for the light to radiate out from inside. It's amazing to think that General Electric was probably making tens of millions of these lights every single year. So there actually is a chance that you could recover or already have recovered a piece of glass that's clear, and it's got a few patterns like this, and it originates from an old light. When we were out on the beach, I really thought there was a good chance that this beautifully aged piece of champagne-colored sea glass would be a match to this huge nugget from a few months ago. But now that I have them right next to each other, it's very clear that they are not even close to the same color. This one is a lot brighter, and this one has a little bit more of a greenish tinge to it. It's kind of wild because this one right here is actually 3/4 of an inch long, but when I put it next to this behemoth over here, it seems really small. So when I was digging through my bag earlier in the video, you might have noticed this truly unique piece that was sticking inside of it. I wasn't sure at first if this was a piece of plastic or a piece of glass on the beach. I just picked it up, threw it in my bag, and I knew I was going to examine it closer when I got home. So now that I've given it a little bit more of an examination, I can say with the utmost of certainty that this is a piece of glass, and it's absolutely amazing to see that it fused to a piece of sandstone right over here. Oops, sorry guys. Right over here you can absolutely see it almost looks like there's a little bit of copper that's also melted onto it. And then over here, it got so black, there's some hot ash to it. And it's kind of wild that sometimes a piece of glass is so hot from the fire that it can just stick to something that's right next to it like a rock. While I haven't had the chance to do any research on this neat little piece of melt glass with the numbers on it, I wanted to share with you the only other thing I have in my collection with embossed numbering. And what it is this John Wyeth and Brothers patient medicine bottle. It's kind of wild because you can see that the cap right over here had these little numbers on it, and you would turn it so you would know when to take your next dose, and it absolutely says right over here on the side of the bottle, take next dose at and then there's a little bit of an arrow. So what would happen is, as you took your dose, you would just move this, and then you would know when the next time was supposed to be, when you were supposed to take it. So it's kind of ingenious. So the patent for this bottle was issued May 19th, 1899. It says so on the bottom of the bottle, and I bet John Wyeth was pretty proud of his patent because it really changed the way that people were able to keep track of their dosages, and it was a really handy bottle. I have to thank everybody one more time for all of your love and your positive support and all of the comments. It really means the world to me. I'm so happy to be at 600 subscribers, to know that there's so many people out there that absolutely love my videos and love my finds. They love the education as well. So I'm going to keep this going as best as I can. I never know what I'm going to find out here, but all I know is that I'm going to find peace of mind, and it's going to bring me so much joy to share these adventures with all of my new friends from around the world. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again real soon.